Hey, everybody, welcome to the one and only Friday Night Audit. We got Craig Sullivan in the house. I'm Glenn Hausman. Thanks so much for spending a little time with us today. How you doing, Craig?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's Friday, we're done. This is it. It's fun time now.
That's great. I feel like I had kind of a free pass this week because I recorded a bunch of shows on Monday morning and then disappeared for Rosh Hashanah until yesterday. So I did not really work too hard this week. Yet somehow I'm still exhausted and fried. I don't know what the deal is.
This week you didn't work hard? This week.
Yeah, well.
That was my question. When do you really work hard?
All right, you know darn well there was that 1 week in December of 2017 where I said
I didn't know you yet, so I can't.
That's
on Facebook. It didn't happen, so I can't confirm nor deny. But I have very, very serious doubts.
Oh man! Well, I can't. Dave's name today is a fall day. Dave, Craig, I can't believe it's already fall. Our final season of 2025. How crazy!
It's
sure.
Yeah,
final season. Like there's a thing called winter still coming.
Well, that's on the 21st of December. That barely counts.
It's still in 2025. Final season.
Maybe
you should do some work on how like the seasons work and time. You know what? We have to have a very serious lesson. Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, David. You being the car aficionado that you are.
I'm not a car aficionado by any means.
And we had fun with those 5 questions to see if there was history before you were born. So I got one more question for you.
Tell me.
On the badging of an Aston Martin DB12, what does DB stand for?
Sounds like a vitamin supplement.
Direct bill.
That's not bad, but no.
You better.
What so? And his number.
No.
But
No. David Brown, who ran the company from, I think, 47 to 53. So I figured you'd know that because you're always saying how much you like Aston Martin.
I do want to own an Aston Martin
complex.
I don't care about the history of it. I don't care about anything other than what kind of car I could possibly get and how much I can't afford it. And then that's all I care about. Whatever else.
What an attitude.
All right, he's got an attitude. Craig,
governor of New Jersey, are you going to have that same attitude?
I'm becoming governor of New Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? When did that happen?
Didn't watch last week's show, obviously.
Well, when they see what you've done at your New Jersey-based hotel, then everyone's just gonna, write you in as a write-in candidate.
There you go.
Anyway, we got a guest today, don't we, Craig?
Oh, yes, we've got the amazing Jonathan Fallick.
I'm not.
He is a great individual for hotel financing and deals, and as I mentioned to Glenn earlier. Featured speaker at Meet the Money this year, knocked it out of the park. And every time I have a conversation with him, it's a great conversation. It's an opportunity to learn and understand nuances that you may not deal with on a regular basis.
All right, the pressure's on. So, hey, there he is.
There he is. Jonathan, welcome.
Here he is. I don't know how I'm going to live up to that. Right?
I know. This better be a great conversation, or else there's going to be some fury going on our end. So
I'll do my best.
Now, can you help an aspiring GM who wants to own a hotel and let him know what the financing options are for a first-time owner?
So the first thing I would tell you is if you want to be, what's that?
Asking for a friend.
Hold on.
I'm a friend, but I have no money, so it's okay.
Before we get into that, because that sounds like it could be important and long. I don't want to be sitting here looking at this beer going, I got to drink it, and then I won't be paying attention to the wisdom. Hey, Hurricane.
First-time hotel owner should have multiple of those cocktails and not a light beer, but like the hard stuff.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of first-time owners, some that become owners and some that are prospective owners. And a number of years ago, I was a first-time hotel owner. So in addition to my advisory business, I've had investments as a sponsor, a deal sponsor in partnerships that either acquired and repositioned or built 25 hotels.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. 8 Embassies, 7 DoubleTrees, 2 Hiltons, 2 Marriotts, 1 Hyatt, and 4 Alofts.
Wow.
And
my claim to fame is I'm wrapping a pipe in insulation tomorrow.
So I've done many of the hard hat walks. I've overseen many PIPs, but I'm not a construction person, right? What I've found is you learn a couple of new tricks at least on every deal. Doesn't matter how, I'm 30 years into this, 35 billion of closed transactions in, probably 200 billion of not closed transactions in. You learn a few new things on every deal. The best thing that I could tell you before getting into the financing of it is, if you're going to be a first-time hotel buyer, make sure you have a strong management company.
I was going to go make sure you have some money. That's probably.
I don't have any of that, so I don't have any money.
I'm not at the capital market side of it yet, right? But make sure you have a strong management company, and make sure you have a very accessible, very hands-on, very practical, and very patient asset manager or asset management firm that's going to help walk you through it, because there are a lot of things that just don't make sense. People in the industry understand them, but if you read any Marriott or Hilton franchise agreement, you'd read the entire document, read through their FDD, the franchise disclosure document, read the draft license agreement, and say, who in their right mind would ever sign such a thing?
First of all, it's like 380 pages, Jonathan. Like, that's a lot for Dave to even consider in the scope of what we're trying to do here.
Well, the good news is the actual license agreement portion of it is only about 90 pages, right. And most of it is non-negotiable. So that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah. So that's kind of the first part. You need someone who's going to hold your hands through what happens and when and where where the unexpected pressures are coming from. Then you need capital, right? You need your own capital or access to someone who's giving you capital, right? And it's not just for the acquisition, right? Hotel is an operating service business where there's payroll every other week. Right. There are bills to pay that come in, the day that you close, right. Whether it's on a new hotel, like just developed, or you're buying an existing hotel, there are people calling up saying, how come my bill hasn't been paid? Like what's going on? Where is this? But payroll keeps coming, even though your occupancy changes every day. You might be at 90% one day. You might be at 30% the next day. If Suzanne says she's evading one or more hurricanes. If a hurricane comes through, it's terrible for some businesses, and it's actually pretty good for others. Right? There are some hotels that benefit very well because they're raised above ground. They have emergency generators. They may be serving as people's second homes, right? After the hurricane comes through and people don't have power, right? Or trees fall in their living rooms. And so you end up with a whole bunch of people, especially in the extended stay world, right? So mid-tier and high-end extended stay sometimes do very well after a hurricane when there's damage, right? Whether from flooding or otherwise. So
I don't love that to even beyond hurricanes. It's other disasters that are occurring.
Well, okay. As long as you're not mentioning Glenn and I being in the same city at the same time, because we know there are law enforcement that no longer allow that to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. We're working on some agreements and stuff. Right now, it's in front of the Arizona governor. So we're hoping to get a waiver to be in the same building at the lodging conference coming up. So
does that mean you're generally not allowed to fly on the same plane together?
Oh, well,
No, unless we're on G-Force One, which is Glenn's personal chat.
obviously we're way too precious. The world would not. How would the world get by without either of us on this show? With one, we could get by without, but
What about 1.5?
yeah. Well, what if I just lost a leg? So
You should be able to do the show without a leg.
Yeah.
I don't know.
true.
Well,
Stan.
Glenn's
Well,
stand.
to be honest with you, Jonathan, I don't know if I could do it with my ego because I don't want Craig to have a leg up on me.
That's what you signed up for, Jonathan. That kind of joke right there.
What if you got the waiver from the governor of Arizona and Craig was sitting on your lap?
Not going to happen.
Okay, let's try it the other way. What if you got the waiver from the governor of Arizona, Craig, and Glenn was sitting on your lap?
No, still not going to happen.
Dave, anything
We're going
to
to
add
put
to
David
this?
on Glenn's lap, baby. They can
You know
fly
what?
out to New York.
All you're doing, unfortunately, is giving Craig ideas for jib jabs, and I've been trying to get Craig off of jib jab for the last year.
Yeah, here, let's put one up.
So
You've been like supporting their stock price with your purchases for a long time.
So all you're doing, Jonathan, is unfortunately making my group chat get filled with jib jabs for the next 6 months because you're filling Craig's head with ideas.
No,
Let's go back to buying a hotel. I think we somehow got off.
That's the whole, Jonathan. That's the point of this ridiculousness.
So
good luck trying. We will continue to interrupt you, just so you understand.
I mean,
That's how my days go.
The buying of a hotel is more of a no vacancy conversation. And again, Craig pointed out because one day would be wonderful for me. Look at this studly young man. It would be great for me to be able to get into an ownership position. But let me tell you right now, with my current setup of too many kids and living in New Jersey and paying too much in taxes, we're not going to be doing that anytime soon. So we can over here just talking about drinking.
Well, I can help you a little with some guidance. So I grew up mostly in New Jersey, born in Brooklyn. I'm sure you can tell by the heavy accent.
What part of Brooklyn?
East 35th Street, like right off of Kings Highway.
Nice.
So like right outside of Flatbush.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Jersey. That's the better question.
Then I grew up mostly, or in Jersey, I grew up mostly in Teaneck, New Jersey. And
we were in Northern Jersey, yeah.
Northern Jersey. Then spent a few years overseas in university, and then spent 30 years in New York City, and watched it deteriorate. The last 14 years or so, I lived right on Union Square Park.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great when I moved in, and then became less great. And during COVID became downright scary. And I kept pushing. And when I finally got my wife to agree to move, I was like, great. Yeah. I agreed to buy the house that we live in right now without seeing it.
Wow.
I was so excited to move the 900 plus miles.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of buying a hotel, right? Most people are doing it with a good amount of debt financing, right? Most people are not used to what the debt financing covenants say. So you have a mortgage and it says you must do this, 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 this. You must have this kind of debt yield and this kind of debt service coverage, and it is an operating service business, and you have to be prepared to fund capital calls, right? So there's not enough money, and if you're buying a hotel, you probably have partners. Either you're running the deal or someone else is, and you're looking forward saying, we're kind of out of cash, and we need cash. Maybe you need cash to make payroll, maybe to pay the debt service. Maybe you need it to renovate rooms. Maybe you need it for some marketing campaign.
Right. Well, that sounds like the debt financing covenant sounds like a new Blumhouse film, and this sounds like it could be a good plot for it. You need the financing, so you go to the debt financing covenant, and then all hell breaks.
Well, the covenants can kill you. They won't break your knees, right? But they will come at you hard in the form of legal notices. That will say you owe this, and depending on what guarantees you have, Oh, so the other thing, in addition to the experienced and patient management company and asset manager, you should have a patient and highly experienced attorney who understands exactly how the documents work, because what you think is going to be a guarantee, right? Guarantee going back just to the property can very easily, with the move of a few commas or a few words, become a full recourse personal guarantee.
All right, now I have a really important question. Who here has actually had their knee broken?
Uh,
I've had knee surgery. Does that count?
yeah.
Okay.
No, you did though.
Oh, that was Glenn's fault, wasn't it?
I believe it happened. Wait, it happened down over here, about down below.
Is there
Somewhere
a good story
down
for it?
there.
Did something interesting happen?
It's a good story, but Glenn doesn't like to hear it because it makes him weak at the knees.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't handle
Tell
blood
it.
stories.
If he passes out, it's great for our ratings.
It could increase your ratings, yeah. So, no, I was out in Vegas. Not gonna lie, in 2 weeks when I head out there, I'm gonna have a little like heart palpitations going on.
She'll be at the same resort. Very scary. I don't know why you requested being in the same room. That was really dumb. I wouldn't have done that.
So they're sending me to the Rio hotel this time.
Oh,
Hey,
Like,
they
it's
I want to say hello to their president, Patrick Miller. He's a great guy, and Rio is awesome right now.
Because I'm not gonna lie, like the rate was like very big differential compared to the rest of the rates, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's all good.
all right,
Hey,
good.
listen, I had a chance about a year ago to check that place out, and I did the walk and talk with him, and they really were doing a great job over there. They were still right in the middle of the renovation, but that part's done. So
Right.
Oh,
most
good.
floor is done, and it looks really great. And there's good energy there now. And the food hall. Sorry, you can't charge as much if you call it food court. Food hall is really nice as well.
Glenn, are you starring in one of the shows?
At the food hall, he is. He's singing.
No, they decided not to go ahead with the Circus of Freaks. So now that they're not doing that, I'm out of a job, which is really sad. Yeah.
Glenn, you could still be a singing waiter.
Yeah. I'd be waiting for guests if I was singing.
I know the ownership group well. I can hook you up.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to talk to them and get them on the show, because I did that. Like I said, I did that walk and talk video with their president. I really think they're doing a great job over there. And what I really like about it, Jonathan, is I love when that entrepreneurial spirit comes in and they're giving the big companies a little kick in the butt, which I think everybody needs in order to keep moving everything forward and make it more interesting for all of us consumers. So love what they're doing over there.
Wait,
You
so
know,
Suzanne, how did you break your knee?
So
Let's
I,
get back to that. I thought I got everyone distracted. Damn it.
I'm pretty focused.
You
That's
are.
also really important if you're buying a hotel. If you're going to buy and own a hotel, stay focused.
Yeah, she's not going to say the name of the hotel, but
no, I'm not going to say the name of the hotel, but the bed frame was not. It was an old bed frame and it was misaligned, but you couldn't.
This
see
was
it.
many years ago too, right?
This was September 20th, 2005. So
Oh, you didn't celebrate your anniversary.
No.
Your break anniversary.
And so I dislocated it first, putting on my pantyhose. And when I fell down because my knee was dislocated and the cap didn't move, and woof, there we go. And I won't say anymore because Glenn will have a freak attack.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say your.
That's all right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to remove myself.
This is one of the reasons why I don't wear pantyhose.
See,
There you
there's
go.
a good lesson in there for you.
I try to learn from all my friends.
Yes, I
That's
don't
it.
wear them anymore either. So
See,
that was kind of the last time.
it was a painful
Well,
learning
I
lesson.
prefer pantyhose because it makes my legs look shapely, and I need that.
Well, then
you know.
they'll look good while you're
That's
sitting on
just your Broadway Joe fixation, Glenn. That's all that is.
That's true. That's true. Last time the Jets were good. Yeah.
Glenn, my
David-
legs are naturally shapely. It's my belly that needs some work.
I mean, like, oh, hit the shape for sure.
Maybe
That's a different
maybe some
product.
Spanx or something. You know, do they make
Isn't there
men's
like
Spanx,
men's
right?
Spanx called Manx or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Dave's got a pair. He'll put them on for you next time and model them.
Dave, you gonna do that for us?
Yeah, totally.
I've never seen Dave pay more attention in my life.
I know.
I feel like he completely forgot he was even on the show and was like doing some
Are you doing revenue management right now? Is that what it is, David?
He's like, I know I can get another nickel per room if I really concentrate.
Well, if I
So
start
let's stay focused. We're buying a hotel. Okay? We're buying a
We are?
hotel.
you're on the exact wrong
the
show for focus.
The debt markets are open. They're, just interest expense is more like interest rates and credit spreads are higher than they had been for quite a while.
Yeah.
They're mostly in line with where they've been prior to 2008. But if your frame of reference is anywhere from 2008 to 2022, interest rates seem extremely high today.
That's right.
But they're either in line or lower
back in
than
like
they have been.
2005.
It's not so easy for a first time hotel purchaser, because a lot of lenders are going to look and say, even if you have a good manager, even if you have a good asset manager, we want to look to your track record. It's not impossible because people figure out how to do it.
Right.
Now, the comment before about you got a lot of kids, in some hotels that's good. You could put them to work. Right. And you can put them to work before they're legally allowed to get work papers. They run around and do all sorts of stuff.
That was that's basically the families have been raised in hotels, right?
Many have. That's basically a rite of passage in the
I will say a lot of men and women I talked to on No Vacancy worked every single job in their parents' hotel, and it gave them a really sharp understanding. And now they're incredibly successful. So back to you, Jonathan. Sorry.
So then once you actually close, you feel really good. I'll tell you, the first hotel that I had made a direct investment in as a sponsor was the DoubleTree Campbell Center in Dallas, Texas. And I happened to be there, not for the closing, but I happened to be there for another deal I was working on the day we closed. So, we finished, we had a dinner, with some of the partners in Dallas. I came back to the hotel and said, okay, I could use another drink or two at the bar. And I saw the bartender was kind of goofing off, playing on his phone while there were a few tables of people with empty glasses, people looking up. And so I walked over. I didn't shout at him. I walked over and I said, are you going to take their order or do you need me to? And he was like, who the F are you, man? What? Get out of my face. I didn't say anything to him, but he went and took their drink orders. Right. All good. The next day I had words with the president of the management company, who clearly passed along the message, because the following night when I came back, this guy was wiping people's wet spots on the table, was dancing around, asking what's going on. So the morning after we close, I wake up and I'm coming downstairs for a 7:30 a.m. breakfast meeting, right? And it's I think it was July,
right?
I come out of the room, I'm waiting for the elevator, and I see what looks sort of like a tissue on the floor in the hallway. So, the day before I would have been what's wrong with these people? They don't clean up. Here I'm well, wait a second, I'm these people.
Yeah.
Right? And I go pick it up and throw it out. Then I went back into my room and I turned the air conditioner from 66 degrees, back to 75 degrees. I picked up the towels that I had left on the floor, wiped up some wet spots, right? And proceeded on. I said, I live in a different world now.
Yeah.
The problem here is mine. If there's extra housekeeping hours, extra maintenance hours, it's extra utilities, it's mine.
Yep.
That is awesome story.
It's funny when you get to that point, or even just as an asset manager, when I'd stop on site, it's my first thing was to do a lap around the property, and I'm picking up cigarette butts and trash and all of that. And inevitably, somebody sees you. And then 3 people come scurrying out of the hotel going, oh, can we help with that? I got it. Don't worry, I'm good.
That's how we do all of our due diligence, right? Before people know us, right? I want to see everything. You know, of course, like when you're doing due diligence on a property for either acquisition, financing, whatever, you show up and they want to take you on a tour of the presidential suite.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, listen, I'm sure your presidential suite is nice. Can you tell me when's the last time the president stayed here? And they're like, the president of what? I'm like, anything, the PTA, like the local, the local chamber of commerce, whatever, anything. You know, I'm like, I don't want to see your presidential suite. I want to see the last to rent rooms. I want to see like the worst rooms in the house, so I know what we have to deal with. But they still want to show you the presidential suite. So I'll go and I'll look and I'll ask, how many times a year, right, is this used? They're like, oh, we use it often. I'm like, let me refine my question. How many times a year is this presidential suite used where it's rented out at a retail rate?
Right.
Not it's an upgrade for, the meeting planner, the mother or father of the bride, the bridal part. How many times? And they're like, last year, 4. I'm like, okay, so why are we talking? This is basically just an amenity. Like, make it nice enough. Make it nice enough so that people like it, right? But if the only 4 times you sold it is when there were citywide conventions and sellouts, and someone took 50 rooms, don't waste my time. I will tell you one of the most fascinating things I saw, which just set me off. We bought. I was partnered with the former CEO and chairman of Aimbridge, so Dave Johnson and Les Bentley. We were co-GPs. We had an institutional partner, and we took a hotel REIT that owned 13 REITs private. Right, so I was running asset management, and I was the CEO of the private REIT. We changed management on 11 of them, but 2 were brand managed. Okay, there was one that was brand managed with a major brand. I won't call them out. Maybe in a few minutes I will, but I won't call them out. We talked to them, and they said we can't really change this from managed to franchised, right? Because it's a brand critical asset. So you know what? I will call them out. It was the Hyatt in Rochester, New York, which I can't see as like a brand critical asset. I just don't see it.
Well, hold on. What year is this? Was this like 1974? Like
no,
when
this was 2007.
All right, so that's right.
And so we go to sit down and start to do our first budget review. And they're bragging about how they have 166% RevPAR index. I said, so you're a renovated Hyatt attached to the convention center, and your comp set is like a Clarion, a deflagged Crown Plaza, and something like you should have a 300% RevPAR index. It's like you're focused on the wrong things.
Right.
So we go on our property tour, right? And I toured it during our acquisition due diligence, but now I want to do a more detailed tour. And we go to the presidential suite, right? Because they want renovation dollars for it. I said, like, for the amount you want, I think I could buy a nice house in Rochester, right? To renovate this, let's think about it. We go to the next room they show me, which is the vice presidential suite. And I said, the what? The vice presidential suite. I said, you're basically taking someone who's supposed to be a VIP, and you're telling them that if the big guy, gets shot like while he's here, we can upgrade.
The good room.
They were like, well, what should we call it? I'm like, you could have 2 presidential suites. You can call it the Hyatt suite, the Ambassador suite, the Rochester suite, the something, but why would you tell someone who's getting the second best room?
Then you guys went to see the Speaker of the House suite. That's when it started to get a little weird.
I just said, like, why would you give someone like the second best room in the house and not make them think that it's the best?
I know.
Yeah.
Like even if you called it presidential East and presidential West, presidential this and
Right. Love it.
that, and they're like, oh, okay, we see what you're talking about, right? So like you get into stuff like this, and the best way to sort it all out, right, Craig? Like you said, you just spend time on site. You can't just show up for meetings, right? As an asset manager, I've thrown out trash. You know, I've led asset management with my teams of over 135 hotels.
So, Jonathan, I was
investment in.
I had dinner. I was with a CEO of president of a hotel company, and the entire time I was with him, every meal we had at his hotels, he was like, the wait for the food. He was like freaking out about that. You know, he was like really hyper focused on it and couldn't even like enjoy himself and just hang in for a few minutes because he was like really. Like, we got to focus on this. We got to do this. We got to do this. You know, that kind of thing. So
you pay attention to absolutely everything.
So
Glenn, people nervous when it comes to dining out. I mean, your expectations are so high; it's just going to set any CEO or president on edge.
Glenn and I have a very low bar, so exceeding our expectations.
Hey, listen, as long as there's a bar, that's fine.
No, but if you think about it, right, our industry is very interesting, right? Generally speaking, the lowest paid employees, right, have the most direct guest interaction.
Right.
Right. Like the average guest walking in the door, right, is not really bumping into the general manager unless they happen to be walking in the lobby, or they're doing a big event there, or they have a big problem.
Right.
Right. They're not. So how do you create a culture, right, where some of the people think they're in the jobs on a transient basis? Hey, I'm going to do this for 6 months. I'm part-time at the front desk. I'm working part-time in banqueting or in the bar or whatever. How do you create that culture, right, where they're representatives of your organization? And that's really important. So one of the things we do, we're working on this on an acquisition right now. We have the plan. The first thing we do anytime we come in as an investor, right, and close on a property or come in as an asset manager is we go and we listen to the employees and we say, we're here. We spend dollars in the employee break room.
Nice.
Right? We paint, we clean. If they've got old refrigerators, old lockers, like, you know, just all the things so people feel better about. We change lighting, and none of these things are big dollars. In some cases where we had laundry rooms, we'd like punch holes in the wall and increase ventilation and make it 20 degrees cooler, you know, in the laundry room. And all of a sudden people don't think we're a bunch of am I allowed to say assholes from New York?
Yeah,
is that
you can say whatever the fuck you want.
This asshole from New York approves. Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to give me a little like bleep depending on what I say, but
all right,
so number one, to signify and show people we're not, but then we sit down department by department, right? Because some people are nervous talking in front of others and say, what would help you do your job better? What do you think we should do better? And what do you think we could do better for guests? In some properties, we've done the suggestion box.
Yep.
You know, and give 100, you know, pick one of the suggestions kind of each month and give whoever put it in $100.
Nice.
Right. We've done some where we've come in and said like our utility bills are just sky high. Right. You know, and we would put a challenge to the engineering team. Yep. If you could figure out how to like, you know, get our electricity usage or water usage, right, you know, down, right, we're going to give everyone kind of 10%, you know, we're going to give you guys 10% of the savings.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
No,
right.
I think that's brilliant, and it's the things that should be done because, you know, now you're empowering your team on site to have a pride and ownership in their responsibilities and for taking care of the hotel.
Yeah, Craig, it's kind of like the difference between air conditioning in a ballroom running overnight and getting turned off the next morning versus at 10 o'clock when the event is over.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Also,
the
that's a good
like
way
my
to get the lingering guests to leave is when the air conditioning is shut off. So,
Yeah.
it serves two purposes.
We
Well,
generally
they take the
we'll do
first
that at
step
home.
going
We don't
far.
do that in the hotels.
What was that, Craig?
I said it's kind of like when they roll the bar out, they don't take that hint that the event's over, but as soon as you turn off the air conditioning, then they all flood the lobby bar of the hotel.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dave?
So it's an interesting business, right?
Or
If you
the
get the employees on your side, right, and you want like in some properties, right, the more line level employees are nervous to suggest anything or
yeah, of
to
course they
speak
are.
out.
Yeah.
I've always encouraged it because I want to know what they're thinking. I'm like, you guys are here all day, every day. You're at the front desk, right?
Yeah.
You're cleaning rooms. If you don't have the right carts, if you don't have the right vacuum cleaner, if you're gonna tell me where I'm being led to believe that we have 3 par linen and we have 2 1/4, like I want to know.
Mhm.
I want to know. I like there's some things that I can solve easily. There are some I can't. But like, let me know so I can work on it.
Well, and if they run out of Fabuloso, then the day's shot. You've got to have that cleaning fluid.
Yeah. One of the other things that I think is fascinating, if you get your folks in the lobby at the front desk, if you have a doorman or a bellman, if you get them focused on what's going on, right, they're going to see who's checking out early. Like me, I never stop at the front desk on the way out, right? I mean, I'm not going to stop. If no one's there and it's early in the morning, I might walk by and say, I'm out of room 522.
My policy is not to check out, Jonathan.
Yeah, I don't need a folio. But if they knew, right, because oftentimes if I'm checking out, I'm on a 6 a.m. flight somewhere. So I'm out the door at 4 a.m, going to the airport, right? If that gets sort of recorded and relayed to the housekeeping, they can better schedule what they're doing instead of just knocking on my door at 11:30, and trying to see, because I might have left a do not disturb sign on.
Right.
Right. So the ability to turn, and we're living in this kind of antiquated part of the business where we tell people, like, you can come and stay in this hotel room from 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. until 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. Right. Which is maybe in sync with the usage that people need, but oftentimes not.
It's not. Yeah.
Right. It's not. And the reason we do it is because our GDS systems are so antiquated, right? They don't know how to book by the hour, right?
Yeah.
So they're stuck by the day. And the only way they can run over 100% occupancy is by knowing they're going to have enough people rolling out and deliberately overbooking, right? Or just waiting and taking walk-ins. It's kind of moronic.
Yeah, it sure is. I got an event that I'm going to. I'm going to be there by 11 a.m., but it's a Sunday, so I'm very stressed out that I'm going to be wind up waiting around for like hours for a room. That's not going to be pleasant.
No, you're right.
Booked the night before.
But it's like you can rent a car, right, by the hour, right? You can say I'm coming at 10 a.m. to Budget or Avis or Hertz.
Well, I do know some
coming
hotels
back. They
rent
figure
by
out
the
how
hour.
to charge you.
Yeah.
You can rent Glen.
Yeah. How much?
Oh, well, it depends how long you want me to stay away.
Speaking or not.
Yeah.
Do you have a spec book for Glenn so we could check out what we're getting for the hour?
Oh, absolutely.
We don't have a
book.
book. I am coming out with a calendar of compromising positions that I'm in. It's a little.
Oh, did Suzanne do a spit take? Did we get that?
I did not.
Oh, damn.
Is your calendar double-sided?
Only if you pay extra.
Is it glossy?
No, it's a matte finish.
Oh,
Glenn, if I was gonna pay for the calendar, I'd pay for the digital edition.
All right.
There you go. Well, if you get the
Easily-
digital edition, you also get the cat edition with that. While they're all over the city.
But think about it,
Hi,
right?
Arnie.
If you wanted several extra hours in a hotel, right? You want to make sure, like, you could go check into the room when you arrive in the morning, maybe take a shower, maybe change, right? Charge your devices. It's difficult to do that, right? In our structure, in our system, it's difficult to do that. If you call and say, "Hey, I want a late checkout," they're like, "Okay, we can extend you an hour." I'm like, I have an 8 p.m. flight. Like I'm running around and then want to take a shower, want to do what, who knows what, right? I don't really care that much when I'm traveling on business, but if I'm traveling on vacation and we're going to the beach during the day, that's a pain. And they're like, "Well, you can have a 4 p.m. checkout." I'm like, I want to be on the beach until 5 o'clock, then go take a shower, and go to the airport and be on an 8 p.m. flight. There's one hotel that gave me a good solution for that. I went to the W Fort Lauderdale for like a long weekend, probably 12, 13 years ago.
Right.
And my flight from Fort Lauderdale back to, I don't know if it was JFK or LaGuardia or whatever on JetBlue, was at like 9 p.m. So I was like, I don't want to check out at 11 a.m. I want to go to the beach, maybe to the pool. I'm going to watch some football. I'm going to whatever. And they said, here we have a structure for you. We have 1 or 2 rooms that we set aside that you can have for, I forget if it was 45 minutes or an hour. I think they said it's 1 hour blocks, but you get it for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can take a shower, you can change at zero cost.
Right.
But it's first come, first serve to sign up. First come, first serve to sign up for it, right? So, and they literally, you go into the shower. It was a regular room that had beds in it, had everything. But, you go in, they do a quick like cleanup.
Right.
When you're done, I think most people probably don't spend 45 minutes in it, right? If they're coming in off the beach, taking a shower, getting dressed. But I checked my bags, right? When I was getting ready to go, I got my bag back. I went, took a shower, right? Rolled out and felt like a real person instead of going to the beach all like, sweaty with sand in my whatever.
Well, and the upside with that is the hotel still gets to charge you the resort fee on top of that.
But the real upside, Craig, is I would go back there. And I would tell other
You
people
would
to go back there just because of that. It wasn't like, oh, we'll charge you an extra $200 to stay in the room for an extra 2 hours. I'm like, F you. Like, that's moronic.
When we used to have the lodging conference over at the Biltmore, okay, I had the same room for the entire time we were there. And because prior to 9/11, I'd come in on Sunday and I'd go out the following Sunday because the East Coast people were coming in on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'd have a chance to see them on Sundays, nice, relaxed. The family were at the pool. I'd have a cabana, do the whole 9 yards. And then over the weekend after it ended, I had the cabana, which also those cabanas had showers, refrigerators, and televisions. So anybody who was checking out early, I always invited them. I'd do a big lunch in the cabana, and I'd have pitchers of mixed drinks coming all day.
And they had a party in the shower.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it was just one of those things. It was so much fun and made so much sense. And I really didn't need my room on Sunday. So, and there's a few places. Grand Wailea does something similar to that. They've got some additional rooms there that you can, have on basically an hourly basis to clean up and then get out of there.
I just think, Craig, we get so focused on like, this is our protocol. This is what we offer without thinking, how do you, how do you actually provide better value for the guest, right? And not everyone is willing to pay for it, but like I certainly am, right? If I can get the things I need, I would pay more. I would gladly.
And that word of mouth that you're spreading, that's invaluable. That's priceless.
So, Johnson, Jonathan, one of the biggest blind spots I think in our industry is owners and operators. They don't think like how they behave when they're in hotels.
Yeah.
They don't access that. It's almost like it's like a
so there's a bias.
It's like they're either owners and they don't know what it's like to be a guest, or they're guests and they don't know what it's like to be owners.
There's a bias, right? Because the owners, a lot of the asset managers, they get very spoiled, right? Because they show up. The management, the on-site management team knows, oh, the owner's coming,
right.
Good friend of the owner's coming, asset manager's coming.
It's
So like I've got a 16-year-old, right, who, when I took him at one point in time, when he was probably 8, I took him to a Residence Inn somewhere or an Embassy Suites. I forget what it was. It was a perfectly fine hotel in Orlando. And he was like, I don't understand. This is the whole room. Like he was used to staying in big suites. He's like, when's the chef gonna bring me the chocolate?
Oh my God.
Like he didn't know any better, right? Or like you go into the restaurant and like people are waiting on you hand over foot, and I'm like, and I tell everyone all the time, I'm like, I can have the last to rent room if I'm coming on business. If I'm coming for like an extended weekend with my family, sure, you can give me a bigger room, or whatever, but I don't need it. I don't know.
Like, God, this is such a waste. Why are you giving me this room?
So like the owners don't see, right? If an owner lives in Chicago and owns a hotel in Florida, in Miami, they don't see what a guest sees.
Right.
Like they're greeted at the door. Like I was, so same thing. I took my wife and the son. He was older than 8 at the time. He was probably 11 or so.
Right.
We went to Disney, and so we flew from Teterboro, right?
Yep.
Where we flew private, and this is because I was going. Right, this was during Passover week, Easter week, and spring break week. So I needed to go for a meeting with a client.
Yeah, Teterboro is like Westchester Airport.
Jersey.
Yeah, right. So that's just
private airport.
Yep.
So it didn't faze him at all that there was no security to go through, that the pilot took his bag to put it on the plane. Right. That he had a couch on, and then we landed right, and there's 2 big SUVs on the tarmac to take us to the hotel. At the hotel, it's the general manager of the hotel and the president of Disney. The president of Disney Orlando is there to greet us,
right?
And we get to the room, and they've got baskets of stuff and park hopper passes, and and I'm like, I'm here for 3 days of meetings. Like you guys are going to the park, and I'll see you after dinner.
But I see you.
Right. I'm working, but this stuff didn't faze him.
Right.
Right. Didn't faze him because he's used to, coming along on certain things or staying in the presidential suite.
Yeah.
Right. Having people pay attention.
This is why I make my kids stay in the parking lot.
It's almost all asset managers get treated the way a regular guest does.
See, that's when I was doing asset management, I never told anybody at the hotel that I was coming, because then I'd get that rose-colored glass, picture of everything. But I love what you're saying.
I would oftentimes not tell them exactly when, what time, but they knew what day, because if I was coming, I was also going to have a meeting to run through detailed P&L, run through kind of status against, marketing, sales and marketing team quotas, go through whatever CapEx plan with the engine. So I want them to be prepared, but I wouldn't tell them necessarily I'm arriving at 10 a.m. Right. And same thing. I would always walk the perimeter before going inside. Walk the parking lot, walk to the parking structure, right? Even if it's valet parking, I go walking in the parking structure, look at everything, see what's going on.
Yeah. No, you need to do that. But there's times where I wasn't having meetings with them. I was there for other reasons, but I just wanted to drop into the property. So either I'd made a reservation under an AKA, or just show up and go, hey, what's happening? But it's funny what you said about your son. Is both my son, who is now 44, my grandson. I put my son back in the day in the vice president's suite. I took the president's suite. But my grandson, who's 9, and Glenn's and David and Suzanne got to see him this year at my conference. He's always there the first night for the opening party, and the little man is just all excited seeing everybody, seeing Grandpa, and it's like, I see my room now. And it's 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms,
service, and all that fun stuff too.
There's a hot fudge sundae waiting for him.
No, it's a fun. It's a fun business.
Magical time. Yeah.
It's definitely a fun business. But
it's a fun business unless, of course, you have a hotel that's been invaded by stink bugs.
Now, listen. Here's a fun pro tip for you. Did you know what color they are when you squish them?
Blue.
Green?
No,
really? Blue?
Yep, pro tip. There you go. Something fun for the day.
They don't teach
Even
that
have
in
stink
hotel
bugs?
school.
No.
We do not.
Okay.
The
Glad to
stink
hear
bugs
you
are
don't
like
have
a
stink
big
bugs.
northern thing. We don't have them down here in Florida. They're really annoying.
Yeah.
They're like
Well, Florida is much better.
exactly. I try and tell them this all the time.
No, it's not. You guys got gators. You got stupid white people that want to play with alligators. No.
Yeah, you also got a lot of
But my
things that hurt.
alligators are on the other side of the metal gate. That's okay. They come and they
until that
like,
one day, then they're not, and then
my backyard has a pool, right? And a metal gate, and then a big incline, and like a man-made lake behind it. We do have alligators in the man-made lake.
Yeah.
They will sometimes climb up and just chill out on the incline.
That's pretty
They
cool.
never come up. They never come up to the gate.
Apparently, I had manatees right across the street last week.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like my neighbor, God love her. She's such a sweet lady for like 84. Still cuts her grass and was riding her bike this morning and got way more energy than I do.
Glenn, there's hope for us.
No, there's not.
and she's like, "Did you see them?" I was like, "Why didn't you tell me? Like, knock on my door. I would have walked across the street." Yeah, I totally missed out on it, man.
So we get in the backyard on both sides of our gate a lot of birds, a lot of bunnies, because my wife likes to feed them. And I'm like, go feed them somewhere else. If you need to feed them somewhere else. Get in your golf cart, go a quarter of a mile away, because they know to come in the morning, right? It's 6 a.m. and they're chirping away. The bunnies are there. I have a young daughter also. I have a 3-year-old. She leaves out carrots for the bunnies.
Aww.
So they're there looking, right? The worst thing that happens is
then she gets the bunnies and leaves the bunnies for the alligators. It's really
they're our bunnies. Florida bunnies are smart. They know to stay away from the alligators.
Yeah, sure.
They do. They boot. You know, there's no Fisher cat down here because the bunny population is huge.
Oh, really?
The bunny population's on cocaine down there, where here they're on pot. They're just kind of
And as Suzanne can tell you very clearly, we're in panther territory, not gator territory.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. Very good.
Yeah. Little sport.
Little plug for FIU.
Very good.
For those that
David
can't
and Glenn didn't get it, but I did.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, nobody around my area cares too much about college sports, so I thought he was referring to the Florida Panthers. So that's where I thought he was going with that one.
Yeah, same here. Hey,
FIU, I'm an adjunct professor at FIU teaching in the Masters in Real Estate Development program. So I've got all the necessary hats and shirts and sweatshirts.
And you're not wearing any of them?
Wow.
No,
We're not
I
working.
took a shower. I brushed my hair. I put on like a button-down shirt.
You do look very, very, very handsome for the show.
For
Much
this
better,
fruit.
much better than you should.
I don't know why you would get all dressed up when I'm wearing the Cat Daddy shirt over here. You know,
Again, we're in Panther territory.
Awesome. Hey, can someone run that graphic right about now? We got it's that
That special one, the one that's so special,
Yeah.
the one that's the best time of the show.
Yeah.
Should I just should I
You're
should
the
I
producer,
just
David.
I could have done it already.
no,
At
but
this
it's okay. But now I just want to see you squeal or scream
I'm
while I
fucking
while I
squealing.
drag it out.
Yeah.
Wheel
I'm
too.
like, I'm like Ned Beatty at this point. Come on. Greg got that one.
Led Dead Beatty, yeah.
I don't know, Suzanne, was that a big plug?
It's good. It's good.
Well,
Well,
I guess plug would be an appropriate word and a good bridge from Ned Beatty to it's the
Squeal
plug
like a
of
pig, Glenn.
What's that?
Squeal like a pig, Glenn.
Your favorite time of the show out there, the time when we get to do our favorite plugs. Jonathan, tell us more about JF Capital Advisors and how we can find you.
So JF Capital Advisors, I founded in 2004. I came up with this brilliant name because I had left Bear Stearns and their hotel investment banking business, and I had 3 clients that within 1 week wanted me to start doing consulting work with them. So
That's amazing.
I made sure there was no one else using the JF Capital Advisors name, and I was in business. I didn't have a business card for about 2 months. I didn't have a logo for about 3-4 months. But I had no plans, right, to do anything when I left Bear Stearns in 2004. Of course, 4 years later, they imploded. So, I think it was bad for them that I left. But
You killed Bear Stearns. It's your fault.
I left.
Finally,
I
the
left,
fifth
and it
came out.
started 4 years later. They were gone. I still had some restricted units, right? That like they vested on a regular schedule. I was considered a good leaver because I didn't go to a direct competitor, right? I was working with a lot of clients and partnering with them. But over the time, we've completed $35 billion worth of transactions, a lot of acquisitions, dispositions, a lot of financing. I spend a lot of time playing transactional, like outsourced transactional chief financial officer and chief investment officer for acquisitions, financings, dispositions. We do a lot of restructuring and repositioning work. Usually, if someone is looking to find me, I speak all over the place, and my phone number's plastered all over, and email is, so I'm like relatively easy to find, but no one calls and says, do you have 5 minutes? People call and say, do you have an hour? I need to tell you who's suing who, the ground lease issues we have, the tax indemnity problems, the fight, the lawsuit with the brand, the lawsuit with our partners. Those are the calls that I get. And we turn down most of the things that we get asked to do because a lot of the expectations are just fucking insane. You told me I could curse without bleeping. So we want to make sure we can actually accomplish something in line with that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Not a great corporate slogan, though.
We work on messy stuff. We've negotiated, a franchise agreement.
Nice.
It's the truth. That's how it works. We've done a lot of asset management, but I never tried to build an asset management business. A lot of our asset management engagements have been related to restructuring. Someone comes along and says, hey, we're going to take out our partner in 2 years or 3 years when we're allowed to under our JV agreement. They're the operating partner. They know what's going on. So we need
Seems a little harsh. You should just buy them out. Why would you want to kill them?
Yeah, I was going to say, just look at David. He knows when Jonathan said we're going to take out our partner, he's going,
Hey, Jimmy, we're going to take a little ride over here, Jonathan, how can we find you? Drop us a website, an email address, whatever you think.
Yeah,
Link.
email address is Jonathan, JONATHAN at jfcap.com. The website is kind of under maintenance, but if you Google me, if you Google Jonathan Fallick, I'm going to come up a million different places. And one of the things I do,
Don't check out
like-
the 687,572nd place. Do not look at that one. Yeah.
if anyone's interested, we produce and distribute on a monthly basis a comparables package that shows all of the public hotel REITs and C Corps in the U.S., their trading levels, and it comes with about a 25 to 30 page industry update that captures a lot of what's going on in the capital market. So, it's received on a monthly basis by about 2,800 people. It varies a little. If anyone would like it, happy to share it. And then a bunch of people ask me about it.
Beautiful. Suzanne, what do you got?
So, I'm going to say, Daniel, keep watching what I'm doing, because I'm actually not necessarily landing them in space right now, but we're working on that in the state of Florida at FIU. But more importantly, I'm going to tell
These
you.
hotels, Glenn.
Hey, you know what? It's going to be fun. Okay. So listen, I'm going to tell you right now, AI in January, our September cohort just started. We've actually got Craig's IT guy in this course, this particular go around. So we're really excited about that. But January, we are already filling that up. So just because it's September, do not wait. But I've got you set up there with your discount codes.
Nice.
For everyone that's going to be at IMAX, let me know. I will be at University Village. It's over in the corner near the stage, and I will be presenting on Wednesday. I don't really know the time. I think it's 1:45, but it'll be on the schedule. And happy to see you. Come say hi.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Dave?
Have a great weekend, everybody. What do I have to promote? I have nothing to promote. I got nothing going on.
Yeah, I don't know. Craig?
How about travel to Jersey, David?
Yeah. Maybe White Manna Burgers. I don't know.
There should be CVB boards and tourism boards. All they're doing that. They're not paying. Listen, you're the guy who put the green tape on the Corona. All right, I'm not getting paid. I'm not promoting nothing.
I get it.
Craig, what do you got?
Hey, Glenn and I are doing interviews and we're doing panels at the lodging conference. So
That's right.
I'm doing the we're doing the repositioning, the conversion panel on Wednesday. Glenn's got a panel on Tuesday, and then Glenn and I are going to the International Association of Amusement Parks. So we're going to be down in Orlando, in December.
November.
Okay.
Which cabana should we visit you at the launching conference?
You should
That's a great
visit
question.
Well, we're going to be running around, but my panel is Wednesday at 11:30. It's W11, as I recall, and come join us. And then we're going to be doing interviews the whole time we're there, and also at the IAPA conference as well. So we've got a lot of great content coming out. We've also got a very special video being put out there later this afternoon. And Dr. Producer Suzanne is part of that. So check out LinkedIn or our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to Click Media and everything we're doing there. Aloha.
Aloha. I want to thank Harry Javer for giving me a general session. Some of the bigwigs in hospitality on Tuesday morning over there. So very excited to be up there, helping get you the information you need, like this guy was just sharing down over here. Also, I'll be at the hospitality show. I'll be shooting videos over there. I just decided I'm going to go to BDNY, so check me out over there. Then the aforementioned IAPA that nobody knows about, but Craig and I are going to be ripping down those boundaries between theme parks and casinos and our industry to try to figure out how we could all be more successful together.
And I'd like to get off with dinner just to make it more fun.
That's like that 3-hour drive is no sweat off your back to just come and like hang out with us for like 45 minutes.
You and I will have an early dinner, and then Craig can show up for cocktails and dessert.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. I think that's what's going to wind up happening. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time, right next Friday. We're going to have another show next Friday, right back here.
Aloha.
Bye,
Bye, everybody. Don't talk